We talked about objectives, right? But in order to write appropriate objectives, we have to understand our students' learning style, and we have to understand their levels. We have to assess their levels, okay? So the first thing you need to do is know your students. What is the best approach to teaching them? And as you can see here, you have the theory of multiple intelligences. That means people learn in different ways and not just in one way. And this was introduced by Howard Gardner. Okay, there are 8 different types of intelligences: the linguistic, logical, social, bodily, musical, interpersonal, and naturalist. Okay, so you need to understand what kind of learning your student likes. If your student linguistic, likes words, memorizes words, likes to read, likes to speak, and so on. Are they logical? They can only understand things that can be analyzed in a logical way, in a structured way, patterns like grammar and stuff. Spatial intelligence, talking about pictures. They can only understand things if they are presented to them in a 3D shape. They can't understand the abstract things. Are they bodily kinesthetic intelligence? And here, that means they can understand things only when they are moving and interacting with it, okay? So sometimes teachers, unfortunately, think that this is bad behavior on behalf of the student. Why do you keep moving? Why do you keep standing? No, that's the way the student learns. The student is a bodily kinesthetic learner. The student cannot learn by just sitting like this. No, the student has to move. And then there's the musical intelligence. You know, people who have a very nice voice, they like to sing and they can speak properly, they have the right intonation. And sometimes you would hear students just, going la 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 in a class. They have the tune going on. It's not because they are misbehaving, it's because that's how they understand things. It has to go with the rhythm. And then there's the interpersonal intelligence, That means the students can only learn if they interact with others. So you can't tell that kind of learner, go and sit by your own and finish this. They can't do it. They can only do it if they are interacting with other students. Unlike the interpersonal self-smart, if you tell that kind of learner, go and sit in a group and finish this, they're going to go, I can't do it. I can only work by myself. So you have to respect what type of learner your student is, okay? Once you know that style of learning, you need to move to the second thing, which is knowing the level of learning of your students. What level are they at? And this is called Bloom's taxonomy, okay? Now, the reason I'm telling you about these is because I know most English language teachers in Syria are, graduated from the English department. And in the English department, they don't have teacher preparation programs. So most of the teachers don't even know about these things or don't know that they exist unless they've done their own, study or they've done the postgraduate certificate diploma in education, okay? So here, know your students' level of learning. Are they at the remembering level, where they can remember words and recall methods and process and patterns and structures? Here, they can only remember the things they hear. Or are they at the understanding level or comprehension level, where they can understand the things that somebody is communicating and explain ideas? Are they at the application level, where it means that they can use information in new situations? They can apply what they learned to a new situation. Or are they at the analysis level, where they can draw connections among ideas? Are they at the evaluation level, where they can justify based on new criteria? Or are they at the creating level, where they can produce a new and original work? Okay, so the higher we go, the higher the level of your students is. Okay, so it's very important to know the level, and that's why you need to assess. Keep assessing, formative assessing, not summative. Summative assessing means to do exams and quizzes, and these really don't tell us the level of the students. What tells us is the formative assessment, because formative assessments are not formal. There's no grade, and it's like having dialogues and asking students to interact with each other and observing them in projects and stuff like that. Now, it's very important that you use specific vocab with each level. So you can't really mix. So if a student is at the remembering level, you can't say formulate, change, adapt. No, you can say define, list, recognize. If your student is at the understanding level, you can't say classify, divide, but you could say discuss, interpret, outline. If the student is at the application level, you can use words like practice, develop, solve, analyze level. You can say classify, differentiate, discover. If the student is at the evaluation level, you could say validate, critique, prioritize. If the student is at the higher level, formulate, devise, change, construct, and so on. These words are very important. Unfortunately, our Syrian English language teachers don't really pay attention to these words because they only use the same instruction to all the students, and that doesn't work. Okay, you need to keep in mind that you have mixed ability classrooms, and that means you have students who are high achievers and you have students who are low achievers. Okay, and you need to differentiate the way you address these students. You need to address them according to the level they are at, the level of fluency and proficiency they are at. Okay, once you understand the student's learning style and learning level, that's when learning can really start happening. And this is where the ZPD, or the zone of proximal development, that was constructed by Lev Vygotsky. Okay, and it's like there are three places. There's the middle, something the learner can do easily without any help. Then there's the outer circle, which is called the zone of proximal development. The learner can do with guidance. And then there's the outer part where it's just too difficult. They can't achieve it. Okay? And this is really important. What does this mean? It means that you need to choose an approach that is not in the student's comfort zone in the middle. They can do without aid. And at the same time, it is not out of the reach of the student, too complicated that they can't achieve. You need to be in the zone of proximal development. That means the learner can do with some assistance. They can achieve it if you give them a push, if you give them some guidance. Okay? And here, usually what we say is scaffolding. You can use scaffolding to assist students achieve your objective. We could use scaffolding to help students, master a certain skill. And one of the ways that we could do it is through the gradual release model. The gradual release model is where the teacher models the new skill, what is to be learned, and then the teacher asks the student to join in modeling the thing. And then at the end, the teacher asks the student to do it by themselves. And that's why we call gradual release. I do as a teacher, we do as a class, and then the last and final stage, you do as a student. Okay? And this is really important. This is a technique that you really need to use in your classrooms. It would make things really easier.